Okay, well the video you're about to see is in broad daylight in 640 by 480 definition and is basically a demonstration of making wood gas. Those of you who don't know about wood gas, the first time you see this it will appear like it's magic. People who don't know about it are absolutely stunned to see it actually works. And if you have seen gasifiers, you may think they're rather complicated. This is not really a gasifier, it's a glorified coffee tin with a bit of copper pipe on it, a handful of sawdust, and an oven roasting bag, like a turkey roasting bag, and that's pretty much it. And I haven't done it since I showed it on Troy's channel in the end of 2013. That video's got 97,000 views, so we should have done quite well. But it was about time, obviously, long overdue, that I showed it on my channel. Now, it's been a while. What I say is steam is, at the start it might be steam, but as time goes on it's not steam, it's actually wood gas, and it's sort of like a form of smoke, which I get it wrong when I say it's likely to condense down to nothing if you leave it sitting in the bag for long enough. It may sink to the bottom of the bag, but it won't actually condense because it is sort of a form of smoke. The yellow fluid you see produced is not pine turpentine, it's probably some form of creosote, and I attempted to get it to burn and couldn't get it to burn. And I will spare you the footage of me trying to light it. But anyway, to those of you who thought you needed a gasifier to make any amount of wood gas, or those of you who have got no experience with wood gas or understanding of it at all, you are about to be in for quite a shock, and well, enjoy. Alrighty people, well, this will look like a magic trick if you have never seen it before. This technology allows you to run petroleum or gasoline fired engines off sawdust. Well, you can see that, but I'll tip some out of my hand. There we go. It's about, I don't know, 2/3 hardwood, 1/3 softwood sawdust, I would say, something along those lines. I've had that for quite a while in a container. I'm going to heat this up on a crappy little butane stove. And we're going to make some magical gas, which will go inside a turkey roaster bag, and then I will light it up and show you how she goes. Anyway, here we go. I've cleaned the creosote off from last time, and this is the same thing I had when Troy was here. I'm going to have to hold onto one of these prongs with the pliers or something like that so it doesn't all overbalance. I've got welding gloves, I've got pliers, extra wire, safety glasses, and we will give her a shot. Okay, so initially here we're just heating it all up. You'll get a lot of steam and bullshit first of all. A lot of the stuff that comes through initially, you get, I think, a bit of it's pine turpentine, you know, maybe some sort of a lighter creosote. The real creosote comes out when you really start firing it up well, but a lot of it is actually just water content out of the wood. But you will get this yellowy stuff, which I assume is pine turpentine. I won't bore you with that. Okay, it's a bit of a better prop. I don't know how well you can see. You have a bit of steam or something starting to come out there. It's better when you get everything well propped. And I can hear some gurgling, which is likely to be some of the pine turpentine or whatever condensing inside of the pipe. There's a couple of different ways to do this properly and well, and one of the easiest proper methods is to just run all the gas through water, and a lot of the shit actually sits in the water, much the same way as a bong. I don't know how common they are. Oh yeah, they're common in the United States. There we go. There's some of your pine turpentine or something building up there in the rim. Anyway, it's getting almost time that I ought to whack this turkey roaster bag on. Alrighty, well, some of the pine turpentine's actually building up in the bag, so I'll refire this up. I may adjust. Across a little bit here. There we go. Now that's actually, it's a blasted big bag. Unlike the one I used with Troy, this is actually an extra large 50 centimetre by 50 centimetre. What's that? 20 inch by 20 inch. This is a pretty big bag. So we should be able to fill up a fair bit, but it all depends how much I'm going to get out of the actual sawdust that's in there. But you'd be surprised how much actually comes out. And we're back up to temperature again after a slight delay. And the bag's starting to fill. And you'll notice it sort of looks steamy, and some of that will be watery. And more of this yellow shit, which I assume is the pine turpentine or some such derivative, maybe some sort of a creosote thing. See, she's all filling up. I'll let that go. See if we can fill her right up. Okay, as you can see, yellow stuff's on the bottom there. She's all a very nice cloudy gas. That's all really condensation related crap that would disappear, I believe. Can't guarantee it, but I think if I let that cool, it would all just sort of essentially steam of some sort, whether it's turpentine steam or what. She tipped over for a second and actually fired up. See, I think the trouble is you get so much sort of charcoal down the bottom of the sawdust that's already been used, so to speak, that you don't get the fresh stuff on top. So I shook it around a bit, and now it's firing up some more. I think in a fantastic world you'd only have sort of 1-inch pipes or something like that, but then it'd make it a hell of a job to clean out such small pipes. This is really a first generation sort of a thing. The proper ones are self-sustaining, have insulation around them, and you don't basically have to use a fire to heat it. You actually sort of almost only go through some of the processes. There's about 6 or 7 processes when something actually burns, when wood actually burns, but you like get it to the 3rd or 4th one and you stall it there through lack of oxygen. but then it'll still actually carry itself through a reaction which gives you no flame and plenty of gas. But with oxygen coming in, I don't like your chances of accidental explosions, and this is one proof of concept. This is not some industrial blasted thing, obviously. Alrighty, well, I think we're just about done. The bubbling's sort of slowing up, which indicates to me that we've obviously done our dash. Oh no, maybe I'm wrong. But anyway, I'll take it off before all this contracts. Yeah, there's still a bit of gas coming out. I think that gives you a bit of an idea. We've got a little bit there. It's not too bad. Geez, you've got plenty of the yellow stuff anyway. And now for the big test. Alrighty. That's it. That was a decent flame, as you can see there. She burns pretty quick. Keep in mind I only had the sawdust probably only up to, oh god, probably barely even an inch deep in that tin there. Get a size comparison. So it's only a relatively small tin, probably, oh gee, 4.5 inches wide by an inch deep, and yeah, well, there we go. Alrighty, I sort of know how this is going to look inside, because this isn't the first time. I'll get something to wedge this open. When I get it open. There we go. That's still got a bit of steam or whatever coming out of it, but that's not really the stuff you want to be breathing in. What do you know? Creosote on the bottom. It's still got some of that yellow liquid mixed with the creosote. And I'll turf all this onto the ground. It says creosote in the sides there. I made a bit of a go of trying to get rid of it. You can't really see, but you can see it's black because that's the creosote. Yeah, this processed quite well. Don't know. Yeah, now you can see what it's like. And that there is all just charcoal. So that worked flaming well, assisted by the fact I shook it around a bit. Some gasifiers on vehicles, they have stuff go through a grate. They more or less bring it down to ash, I believe. And the grate is just sort of got a stoker that's moved by the vibration of the vehicle, believe it or not. There we go. So that's the way she works. Okay, well, thanks for watching that. I may go ahead and experiment gasifying a few more things, including maybe even paraffin wax. Interesting to note, there were a lot of strange things in Germany in World War I. Because of shortages, bicycles were actually made not with rubber tyres, but with a whole series of little springs in place of the rubber tyres. And they were surprisingly alright on gravel roads, not so good on solid pavement. Another thing they'd done, they ran out of acetylene gas. And basically this dude, scientist, worked out that you could gasify diesel and it would produce a gas that was not real great, but clean enough to use in metalwork in replacement of acetylene. It wasn't $1 million, but it was clean enough to use, and there are other gases that they played with which just were not clean enough to be able to, you know, do any sort of brazing or sort of old school style torch welding with, which is another interesting thing to note. There are many things that can be gasified. I might even be crazy enough to try pig shit or sheep shit. I have previously, actually off camera, when I first made up that rig, tried green weeds out in the paddock. And yeah, we made weed gas, I suppose you'd call it. And wasn't very good quality or anything like that, but it did actually burn. And yeah, there's a number of interviews I want to do. One of them, which is more likely than most of the others to happen, is talk to a old German guy who, oh shit, he'd be approaching 80 now. He was 75 a few years ago, so he'd be getting on now. And he is in the very unique position of his father actually owning a car manufacturing company during the Nazi days. And I think it was right during the Nazi days. It might have been slightly before. I do know that Audi is made of 8 different companies that existed, car manufacturing ones during the Nazi days that were all rolled into one. They're all joined forces. And he had a brand line of cars known as Kaiser, I believe. Didn't make a great deal, maybe only 35 or so a year. But he also grew up during the last days of the war. Can remember concussion bombs, only very briefly. And I believe he would know an exceedingly large amount about gasifiers due to the fact of having spent his whole life in the car industry, his father having owned a small car company, and basically I think he would have been playing with gasifiers as a teenager. So we are likely to, at some point, go and visit him and ask him what he knows, and I hope that there's a fair bit, and I hope that makes a bloody good video.